Hey guys, it is Ben. Sorry, it's been a hot minute. It's been a stressful week. Hopefully, I'm gonna be getting back into doing these more regularly. I wanted to give you all a quick update on what's going on pop culture wise, on what's going on comic book wise, and maybe begin a little bit of my talk on JRR Tolkien. So pop culture wise, I recently finished playing Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. I love it. I love it to death, but I can definitely tell this is a very niche game. If you are somebody who loves action and story and needs a compelling reason to play a game, this is not the game for you. Ancestors is very much a storyless survival game that your ultimate goal is to evolve your tribe into early humans. It does not have a story whatsoever. There is no dialogue or anything like that. And when you first start off the game, you essentially have to learn how to operate the controls for survival. They give you a couple of hints in the very beginning. After that, you're on your own. I love that aspect, frankly, because it's part of the immersion to me in this. You start off the way early hominids started off, not knowing what to do about anything, and you have to figure it out on your own. I thought it was really fun. It gripped my attention. If you prefer a game that has a very clear-cut story, this is not the game for you. But I highly recommend at least giving it a shot. And I have currently started playing the latest Dragon Ball game known as Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now this game, I'm leaning more on the positive side of things when it comes to this game, but at the same time, it has a few flaws that I feel like they need to be addressed. Because I'm tired of Dragon Ball games kind of going halfway. It seems like the people who create these games, it's like they're banking so heavily on people who love Dragon Ball that they don't really bother to make a completely immersive game. They touch on points from the TV show and the manga, and that's it. This game, they branched off a little more from that. It was RPG style, meaning you didn't just go into every fight evenly matched. You had to actually prepare for the big fights. That was really good aspect. The fact that they decided to add on by adding in some side stories involving characters from Dragon Ball, the original, I loved that aspect. I thought it was great. They were tying together a bunch of plot lines that Akira Toriyama kind of let fall flat. I thought that was good stuff. The interactions of the characters are fun. It reminds you a lot of Dragon Ball. That being said, my number one problem with this game, it's called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, yet you only spend about a third of the game playing as Goku. You spend the vast majority of this game playing as Gohan, Goku's son. So really, if you think about it, this game should not be called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It should be called Dragon Ball Z Gohan. But there you go. I would have preferred we actually just follow Goku in Goku's shoes for most of the game. I would have liked to see them explore certain things, like when Goku had to run down Snake Way, Goku training in the other world after the Cell Saga, things like that. They completely skipped over all that and just followed the show's beat points. And I didn't like that because it's like there's no point in calling this thing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because you're just following the plot line of Dragon Ball Z. We're not getting Goku's specific perspective on this. And the fact that they took a few shortcuts on some of the plot points from the show. There were points where you were expecting a fight or at least some kind of a mini-game challenge, and it was just cutscene. I didn't like that. I feel like if you're gonna do a game, especially one that you're advertising as like immersing you in this universe, be a little more creative with the cutscenes. Add quick time events. Add something to get the player involved in the storyline. Especially since Dragon Ball is famous for those moments where everything's a close call. You have to, like when Goku had to grab onto Raditz's tail and he had to hold on, that could have been a great quick time event. The time limit for when Namek was going to explode. I would have liked to see Goku do something on planet Yardrat. I think that would have been a great addition. Just little things like this that could have added a little bit more to this game, that could have separated it out from the show and given more meaning to the title. So, all in all, I would say that this game is a step in the right direction for Dragon Ball games, but we're not there yet. We need more. I would suggest getting a company like Square Enix to try a Dragon Ball type title, see what they come out with. I'd love to see RPG creators do something with the Dragon Ball universe. I feel like that could be really great stuff. So all in all, Kakarot, it's a good game, but it has quite a few flaws, but I'm not super shocked by that. It's definitely a step up from the previous entry. So there we go with that. So as you all know, JRR Tolkien is my favorite author. The concept of Middle-earth was first conceived by him with his writing group. He wrote a lot of his mythology down during World War I while he was in combat, and he kind of shelved it for the most part. It was down the line he wrote The Hobbit originally as sort of a children's story for the sake of his son. And when they asked him for a sequel, he thought completely outside the norm, completely outside the box, and conceptualized a story that would incorporate his old mythology while continuing the story from The Hobbit. And it was definitely a major departure. The Hobbit was made originally for young ages. It was easy to read. Lord of the Rings was the exact opposite. It was incredibly complex and long. It was not meant for young readers in the slightest. And in fact, a lot of seasoned readers would have trouble following it because Tolkien did not follow traditional novel writing methods. The story was split up in a strange way. It takes you a minute to really figure out the timeline of the events in the book. And, you can reread Lord of the Rings multiple times and find something new that you didn't notice before every time. It was definitely a confusing entry in the series, to say the least. And it took him about 60 years because Tolkien, instead of relying on traditional methods of going back and editing what he wrote, if he hit a snag, every time he hit a snag, he just tore out everything he did, threw it all in the trash, and started from the first sentence of the book all over again. That takes some dedication, and that is nerve-wracking as heck. So, anyways, I'm going to continue talking more about Tolkien, and I'm going to start diving into the Silmarillion in my next video. For this segment, I wanted to remind you all, for those of you who do not know, Outlaw Nights is going to be launching on Indiegogo on April 1st, 2020. Be sure to click on the link in the description of this video. It will take you to the email list for Outlaw Nights. You're going to want to sign on to this because if you sign on to the email list, you will get exclusive access to perks not available to the rest of the public. And these perks will give you more bang for your buck. I promise you that. You don't want to miss out on this. We got some gorgeous artwork that's just been produced. Particularly, we just did a double page of the ship known as Hazard, and it is gorgeous as all get out. I'm very excited about that. I hope you all will join me next time. If you like anything I had to say, go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe both on YouTube and BitChute. Thank you so much for joining me again, everybody. I will talk to you all some more about JRR Tolkien next time.